Hello and welcome to Unbounded Growth, a podcast that challenges you to grow and become a better version of yourself. My name is Mark Allen, and together with my friend Adam, we share thoughts and ideas from the books that we read and how they enhance our personal growth and development. We also host other readers and leaders. We learn from their experiences through our discussions. Our episodes air every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you for listening in, and let's grow together. Unbounded Growth. Hello and welcome back to Unbounded Growth. It has been 4 weeks and I can't even believe it. Time has gone by so fast. And I still feel like we need a vacation from the vacation. How are you doing, Adam?
I am doing very well. It's been crazy 4 weeks. We've been away from here, but the background has just been so much work. Actually, I'm glad this past Monday, it was the very first Monday in about 6 months that I did an 8 to 5.
Wow.
Even myself, I couldn't believe it. Left my house at around 8 o'clock, got back at around 5:30.
Wow.
I was like, who's this? But yeah, it was after I completed a huge task that I had ahead. It's crazy how much you can get done when you have a deadline.
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
It does not matter what you think. It doesn't matter you get sick or you had a problem or family issue. When there's a deadline, and especially in America, there's a deadline and you gotta get it done. And it was inspiring to myself even, actually. Yeah. When I was talking to all my mentors this week, they were like, yeah, it's like that. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
You should start having more deadlines then.
So thank you so much to all our listeners. Again, my name is Mark Allen. I'm your host with my co-host and friend Adam Shibindu. And we just want to start by thanking you for all the feedback that we received after our first season. It's been very encouraging and very inspiring. And now I'm going to give a few announcements, maybe the plans that we have for the second season moving forward and the things that we be doing. First of all, from the feedback that we received, we've listened to y'all. We've received again your the things that we need to correct, the things that we need to change that have been very, very helpful, and we are implementing all those in this second season. We also will be moving into the same direction in which we have been moving. We're talking about growth and personal development. We're talking about leadership. Well, those will be the three aspects where we focus as Unbounded Growth, as this group, as this podcast, as this future company. But some of the books that we review this season, I don't know if we have the time to get through all of them, but some of them that we talked about reviewing, we start with Atomic Habit. Today, we won't go through the whole book, but we just give you an overview to get started with it. You can download the book. One thing that we are trying to make available is book summaries. We give you in the near future a place where you can start looking at the book summaries that we're making. We make a book summary, take the summary of the book, what the book is all about, the quotation that we get from the book. We also try to always keep our Instagram feed updated with all the information that you need. So a few books, we talk about Atomic Habits, how to create new habits. And while we're talking about that, we may also be mentioning a lot of tiny habits, because the approach and the ideology in all the books are pretty much the same. We talk about our very first book on leadership, The 5 Levels of Leadership by Dr. John C. Maxwell. That's one of the most amazing books that you ever read on leadership. So we'll be discussing the 5 levels of leadership. If you want to get into leadership, get started with your journey into leadership, and why you should even get started on the journey with leadership. We'll be talking about that. We'll talk about the greatest salesman in the world, how to change your life by taking a chance on yourself. When people believe in you, how can you move from receiving people that believe in you to starting to believe in yourself and taking a chance on you to change your life? After that, we try to talk about the 7 strategies for wealth and happiness by Jim Rohn, and we'll probably be finishing up this season with Born to Win by Zig Ziglar. You know, here on Bold Growth, we want to inspire you to grow. We want to raise the leader within you. And we accomplishing that by helping you to discover the why. Why are you here on earth? You know, Ralph Emerson said that there are two greatest days in a man's life: the day he's born and the day he discovers why. I always like to add to that the third greatest day in a man's life is the day he starts doing what he was born to do. And we want to help you to discover the why. If you've already discovered it, great. If you've discovered it, we want to help you to continue to grow in your mission. What is your mission? What is it that you're doing here on earth? What do you want do you want to be remembered for? And how can we help you to grow through that? And thirdly, we want to help you to fulfill your potential. So in this second episode, we're going to do that, of course, through our weekly podcast that air every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you are within the United States, and if you're around the world, is Central Standard Time every Tuesday at 6 a.m. And then the second thing that we're going to do this season is that we have a lot more hosts this season than we had in the previous season, just to have discussions with people, talk about finance, talk about, the challenges of starting a new business, the challenges of leading a small company. What are the things that you can do to improve yourself? How do you create ideas? How do you generate ideas? Where do ideas come from? So we have a lot of guests to discuss things of that nature. We have some resources that can help you, some personal development strategy, and sometimes we just have guests to hear their stories, because we believe that stories can help create inspiration. You can just hear someone's story, and the inspiration for your new business, for your new personal development, or for your new growth, or how to overcome your challenges can just come from hearing somebody's stories. I believe in stories. I know Adam and I are always big on stories and hearing people's stories. And what I was mentioning at the beginning is that we started doing some book summaries, and we soon be making those available to you. If you want to listen to the podcast, but you also want to read what is this book about, if it's really a book that you want to pick, we have a place where you can go and find those books, and we are working on our website, which we believe should be available before the end of this season. I know right now, if you go to www.theunboundedgrowth.com, it redirects you to Anchor, where you can always download this podcast. So how can you help us? The best way to help us and support us is by liking this podcast, by subscribing on whatever platform you listen to. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, leave us a like, leave us a comment, share those with the people that you care the most about, and ask them to do the same thing, to subscribe, to download, and to listen to the podcast. And if you want to support us financially, you can always go to our Anchor page and give us some more insight. The reason why we need the money is for two reasons. The first one, of course, we want to build a little YouTube studio, not build it from scratch. There's just a few stuff that we need to get, a mixer, a camera, and stuff like that. The other reason is, as we told you before, we support the education of a few kids around the world, especially in Congo right now, with low-income families, and we want to raise them. We want to raise them in a way of thinking differently about leadership, even here in the United States, making it available. I was pretty surprised and shocked when I heard some statistics about Oak Cliff, Southeast Dallas here, where some kids don't even have access to internet. And it's crazy to think about it in 2022 in the United States of America, that some kids don't have access to the internet. Some kids don't have access to books. And we want to make those available to our communities, the people around us. So that's a little bit what we'll be doing this season. Today we are going to have a pretty short episode. And we wanted to, first of all, get this out of the way. And if it's your first time here on Unbounded Growth, this is what we are all about. To help you discover your why, to help you grow in your mission and fulfill your potential. We want to help inspire your growth and raise the leader within you. And so today, this is a book we've been waiting to talk about for so long. But we give you a little summary, discuss about it a little bit, just to get into the mood of it. And next week, we are going to start diving right in it. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Most probably one of the most transformative books I've read in my entire life. And it doesn't matter what you believe, whether you're Christian or not, I don't even think James Clear is a Christian or identifies himself as a Christian. But the lessons that it teaches here are the lessons that can help you to build good habits and break bad habits. I'll give a little
Absolutely.
overview here, and Adam will start diving into some of these laws. So there are 4 laws that James Clear talks about, and we talk about them in details. The first one is say to build your habit, make the habit obvious. The second law is that make the habit attractive. The third law is make it easy. And the fourth law, make the habit satisfying. This is just a summary of how you can build every single habit in your life. But let's look at some numbers. Let's look at some stuff that James Clear talks about here. A lot of great stuff are coming in this book.
Yeah, definitely. This to me is the most exciting book actually ever, if I can say, because this is the one book that I took and started applying from beginning all the way to end. I was consuming this like how growing up in Kinshasa. There is something that we used to call chapelet. Chapelet is the rosary. Rosary, but it was a term that we used to talk about going long distances on foot. So what you do, usually a lot of your friends don't have any transportation money to take them home. So what you would do is, like, if you have the transportation money, we'll take that money and buy peanuts. And then you make sure you split that peanuts and eat one by one. You eat one, you walk 2 feet or 20 feet.
Right.
You eat another, and then you buy water down the street. That's actually how I consume this book. To me, just to give a quick example, I struggled with the problem of not sleeping enough. I'm not the type of person who I prove everything to myself. Even when I'm wrong, I try to prove myself that, okay, I mean, I have some logical sense, right? That I'm not dumb. There is some logical explanation why I made this choice. So I usually tell myself that, and I try to prove it so much that I even proved the fact that I don't sleep. I used to say that sleep is just a biological constraint. It's a biological constraint.
Yeah.
It's just something that nature forces us to do just to get by. So you can, if you can satisfy yourself with a certain amount of sleep, and then you should be good to go. And just to kind of wrap up this story, because I just want to show how important or how good this book is, and to encourage somebody to just pick it up and start reading as we go through, is the fact that I used to believe that. And then I came across this book. I started reading it. And a person who was not sleeping, I used to tell myself, well, I run a business, I run a company, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If I sleep for 4 hours, cool. I started feeling now the effect of sleeping for 4 hours.
And it catches up with you quickly.
My body was so used to sleeping for a maximum of 4.5 hours that if I go for like 6, 7, I woke up with a headache. Now, so I used to feel good about it. It was a bad habit. And actually, James Clear explains how you actually acquire that bad habit and how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I used to feel so good about it. And then I started working out. Normally, working out is supposed to have a positive effect on you.
Yeah.
When you work out, you are energized, you are good, you can run for a whole day. But I think it was around February this year or March, I was working out almost every day. And instead of coming to work energized,
you came to work to sleep.
By 4 p.m., I am very tired.
Right.
4 p.m., I'm exhausted, and I still have a lot of work. So I started tracking what is wrong, what is this, and then I came across this book, and the way you talk about tracking your habits and what you do and all your routines, and it's just such an amazing thing to pick up and to read as as a rosary, right? Consume piece by piece,
piece by piece, every single
and
day.
apply
Mhm.
and apply to your own life.
And that's the secret to this book. It's not one of those books that you just want to read and go through. As a matter of fact, when you finish the book in the conclusion, the first recommendation it tells you is like, go back to page number 1 and start reading again. There's no way you're going to remember everything you just read without reading this book again. And one of the best ways to actually remember the lessons of this book, the first one is, of course, applying those lessons to your life until they become automatic. The second one is learning to teach it to someone else. And it goes a long way with a book by BJ Fogg, which is called Tiny Habits, that I just finished a few weeks ago. And I'm actually working on a summary of the book and trying to apply all the same principle. So the whole idea about atomic habit, James Clear begins this book by giving a quick definition about atomic habit. Why atomic habit? So atomic is an extremely small amount of a thing, the single irreducible unit in a larger system. When you get to an atomic thing, it's something that is so small that you can no longer break it down. For people who love chemistry, chemistry is not one of my favorite subjects in life and in school. I know chemists, much love to y'all because y'all can do something that I don't think I'm interested in doing. But in chemistry, when something is atomic, you've broken that unit to its very simplest expression. You can no longer break something that is atomic. And the idea about atomicity of habits is to break the habits that you're trying to create to something so small that you don't have an excuse not to build that habit. I'll give a quick example, and I'll be jumping in between Atomic Habits and Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. I'll give an example. So I've been trying to to go back to, as Adam say, I've been struggling with sleep for the last 8 years. My years in college, yeah, 4 hours sleep, cool. I can move with that. Can I work full time and go to school full time? Yes, I can do that. But I started realizing a problem is that it was starting to have a negative effect on my health. Always feeling tired, never feeling energized enough. And you realize quickly that when you don't have enough energy, when you are always tired, the problem that is born out of it is that you can't create. You can't think creatively. Yeah, you can do the everyday tasks. Can you go to work and repeat the same stuff that you do every day? Yeah, you can do that. But when it comes to creation, when it comes to thinking, when it comes to actually making some important decisions, it's hard to do it when you don't have a consistent schedule of sleep, when your brain does not regenerate enough. And even in psychology and neuroscience, it's proven that when we sleep, our brain is regenerated. Some of these cells actually kind of reborn within our brain. And when you don't have a consistent pattern of sleep, you are not giving your body the energy or the time it needs to regenerate itself or to reborn itself. It's like you are beating a dead horse every single morning. And that's
And
why.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
add one thing to that
Yeah.
before you continue,
Mhm.
is the fact that we can survive
Mm.
over 30 days without eating.
Mhm.
We can easily do it,
Mm.
but we cannot go for more than, I believe, 4 days
Without sleeping.
without sleep.
Mm.
Yeah, I think after the 4th day, on the 5th day, you can die
Your body
from
really
not sleeping.
start breaking down.
Yeah, you can die from not sleeping. That's
Mm.
just a point. That's why this book just changed my life.
Exactly. And that's how, James Clear says that we need to break those habits to the very simplest step that you can make so that you don't have an excuse not to do it. So the first thing, of course, he suggests is, learning how to track your habit. Why do I not sleep early? What are the things that cause me not to sleep early? And that's why I believe journaling is important. Thinking about it in your mind is great. But when you start writing things down, you start clarifying all the confusion that can be in your mind. Going back to the example that I was giving about how I started implementing some of these habits because I wanted to be exercising more, eating healthier, and all the stuff that start hitting you when you hit 30. I'm already up there, and so it's already taking an effect on me. But I wanted to start doing 50 push-ups a day. That's very ambitious. It's very ambitious, and it's a lot, right? If I think about doing 50 push-ups, it's hard for me to even start. And the fear of the fear of the task stops me from doing it. It's not that I cannot do it, it's just because I think about, man, 50 push-ups. So I say, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And that's one of the biggest problems when it comes to creating habit. We think that in order for me to lose 30 pounds, I have to work out 5 days a week and I have to work out for an hour every single day. Maybe that's true. But when you think that you have to drive for 20 minutes to the gym and put in an hour work and drive back home, you can be discouraged and not do it at all. So James Clear and BJ Fogg in Tiny Habits suggest breaking the habit to small, simple steps. For the last 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, I've been doing more than 50 push-ups a day. How do I do it? The first thing is I break it down to 2 push-ups. That's my atomic. Something so small, I'll say, okay, can I do 2 push-ups? Yes, I can do it. How can I do 2 push-ups? So I drink a lot of water. I try to drink a lot of water every day. I drink about 6 to 8 bottles of 0.5 liters of water every day. That means that I use the restroom more frequently than the average person. Like every hour, every 2 hours, I need to pee. And I said to myself, every time I get up my seat to go do something, whether it's I'm going to drink water or whether I'm going to use the restrooms, I'll do 2 push-ups. And guess what? Every single time I get off my desk, it has become automatic. In my head, it's like, after I get up, I do 2 push-ups. And rarely have I done 2 push-ups. Yeah, some days I've done 2 push-ups and felt good about it and clap my hands. And that's where James Clear says, creating satisfying habits. But every time I get up, I do more than 2 push-ups. Sometimes I go for 10. And from 7 a.m. to midday when I take my lunch break, I'm already at 50 push-ups. And I keep on doing it because I keep on getting up throughout the day, and I'll get down on my knees and do 5 push-ups, 10 push-ups. And at the end of the day, I'm at more than 50 push-ups. So the idea about Atomic is breaking whatever new habit that you want to create. You want to eat more fruit? Don't leave the fruits in your kitchen that you haven't washed the fruits, like an apple. You haven't washed the apple. When you go to the kitchen, you'll be more tempted to drink a soda because it's already there. It's available. It's easy for you to take it than for you to eat an apple. But if you take the sodas out of your fridge and cut the apple, wash them, so that when you open your fridge, you don't have to do anything else but grab a piece of apple and eat it. That's how you start eating more fruit. So whatever habit that you want to create, even reading a book, which, you are listening to Unbounded Growth. We are all about book reading. What about every time you pick up your phone, you read 1 page of a book? Or 1 page is too much maybe. What about you read 2 lines of a page in a book? That pushes you to take whatever habit that you're trying to create, break it down to something so minute that you can do it without any effort. And that's the first law where James Clear talks about making the habit easy. The second thing to talk about here, the habit is a routine or practice performed regularly, an automatic response to a specific situation. There's one more example that I get to here, and then I know Adam has a lot to say about this book. I remember when I told Adam about this book, it was like on a Saturday, the first time Adam was here, I was like, Adam, you need to read this book. I told everybody on Saturday. On Monday or Tuesday, maybe, Adam was done with the book. I was like, there's no way. Like, what did you do? Like, he bought the book right away, brought back home, listened to the book, came back and started applying it. I was like, man, he actually made me feel jealous. I was like, man, I've been reading this book for so long, but I haven't applied it to the level where Adam is doing it. So, one thing, this is how powerful small habits can be, atomic habits can be. If you take 0.99 to the power of 365, all you get is 0.03. Again, 0.99. You can take your calculator and try it. To the power of 365 days, all you get is 0.03. But if you take 1.01 to the power of 365, you get 37.78. Think about how massive that is. And we're talking about a difference of 0.01 that you just added from 0.99 to 1.01. And when you power that to 365, the results are so different. The other examples he gives here, he say that the impact created by a change in your habits is similar to the effect of shifting the route of an airplane just by a few degrees. Imagine you're flying from Los Angeles to New York City. If a pilot leaving Los Angeles airport are just heading by 3.5 degrees south, I'm talking about 3.5 degrees south, you will land in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. That's just how tiny habits can be beneficial to you. But in the same manner, if you start adapting a bad habit, it can be detrimental to your health. A soda every day, maybe not a bad deal. But how much is that adding to your health? How much benefit is that to you? You want to watch an hour of a movie every day? Maybe not a problem. But think about if you invested that hour to work out, or to read, or to learn something that you desire to learn. That's just my introductory take on the book. And I know we have a lot more to learn on this. Adam, what's your take at the beginning of the book?
At the beginning of the book, I think he mentioned there's something that's called he said the habits can compound for you or against you.
Love that.
So like all the habits can either your habits can be helping you, or can be destroying or killing your life, or even making you poor. So habits, it's the one thing that can have, like, you can have both. You can have something he called positive compounding and negative compounding, and this is it's a lot of kind of a bit of psychology,
right,
that is trying to push in. And he gives a few examples. He talked about productivity compounds. He said accomplishing one extra task is a small feat on any given day, but it counts for a lot over an entire career. The effect of automating an old task or mastering a new skill can be even greater. The more tasks you can handle without thinking, the more brain is free to focus on other areas. Think about it. Think about it. It's like picking up your phone every day when you wake up. It's a very negative thing, right? Very negative thing. But you pick it up every day, it becomes so automatic that your brain doesn't even think about it.
Right.
It's like the other thing, right? When you smell something bad for the first time, there is actually this, and no offense, but there's this one place where I usually have to walk by in the lab, and I walk in that lab, and it always smells so bad when I'm in there. But I'm like, wait, so there are people who actually work here every single day,
and they become immune to it. Yeah, you become immune to it.
Completely.
Yeah.
There is actually your brain, the way your brain functions, actually. So it has different type of nerves, and there are nerves that actually can directly sense something, like actively right there, and then at certain point that information just becomes so irrelevant to the brain,
right,
that the brain just sends it to the background, and it's still there, but it's just not active.
It's kind of like, so background noise, habits. Right? It's like you work. I don't know, Adam. When you come to my house, like we live right next to a busy street, and you can say, "Man, this place is loud. Like there's too many cars." Trust me, the first time we moved into the apartment, we could hear those cars. A year later, they don't mean anything to us. We can have a full-blown conversation, like without even noticing the cars are driving by.
It is the power, like that's power of habits. It can help your career. It can help you be productive if you can just automate things in your mind. It can help you improve your career. It can, if you have every good habit you acquire, can have, as long as you can make it basically subconscious, it can change your life.
And
Something else he has mentioned.
I think that's the power of the subconscious mind. When you move things from your conscious mind, where you have to actively think about it, to your subconscious mind, where you are just doing it by instinct, by nature, which a lot of us right now, our phones are being used by instinct and by nature. And I think while we're talking about this book, we probably help ourselves here and help you as well, who's listening to us, to break your phone habit. One of the things, I'll just share this before Adam continues to give this second example here, I think is very crucial. One of the things that I've been doing lately, every day after work, I turn off my phone so I can spend more time with my wife and kid. And the simple fact that I turn off my phone for 6 to 8 hours has actually made me realize that maybe those notifications are not as important as they seem to be every time my phone dings.
Yeah, and so there's another effect that's actually he put here. That's I gave an example of one that is positive, right? That habits can help you with productivity. Now, negatively, there's another example he gives. Stress compounds. The frustration of a traffic jam, the weight of parenting responsibilities, the worry of making ends meet, the strain of slightly high blood pressure. By themselves, these common causes of stress are manageable. But when they persist for years, little stresses compound into serious health issues.
And that's very true.
And and this for some of us who are in health sciences and in medicine, it's just that. It's one tiny thing, one thing at a time that just gets to build up into cancer. It's literally just like one step that you miss, one small thing that you miss it today, tomorrow again you miss it, 1 week from now, in 1 year, it starts piling up.
Become detrimental to you.
Yeah, and it becomes very detrimental to you. So habits, having power over oneself is having power over one's habits. If you want to really be in charge, if I can say, that's hey, I am in charge
of yourself, because a lot of us are not.
Yourself, control your habits, and the power, something that's and we will talk about even more. Striking the habits. Like I would go. This book just really had a lot of positive impact on my life. So many times I've maybe my friend Grace can talk to this, and I was telling her for a few times. I'm like we'll be chatting, and I'll be like, oh shoot, today again I forgot my ID. And then, oh yeah, another day I forgot my ID again. Oh, I left again my ID at home, and I need that ID to access the building. So I was like, how is this happening? So James Clear in this book, and we're gonna talk about it, he gave a trick of calling things out before you leave the house.
Yep. I love that.
Call it out loud. Say, I got my wallet, got my phone.
Yeah.
Literally, like I started doing that. I got my ID. I got my watch on. I'm leaving the house. Like I put some lotion on.
You know, it's funny. I do that all the time before I travel. I have a list of everything that needs to go to my suitcase. I need A, B, C, D, and you know, you don't find yourself, you know, 500 miles away from home, and you don't have your jacket on. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a type of things that actually, when you think about them, they have this compound effect. There's a story that James Clear talks about at the beginning of the book. He talks about a bicycling team, I believe, that's I think was like the national team of I believe it was a British cycling. It was a team. That's so they were really not as good.
Right.
If you can say. They were losing all the time, and they were just struggling. But all they did is just change one thing. Like very, very, very one thing. And that's kind of change their entire trajectory. So they started by improving by 1%. There's something that's actually, there's a concept that he introduces in this, all throughout this book. He called it the power of marginal gains. The power of marginal gains. This is the roots of engineering. Anybody who has taken a calculus class, the calculus starts with you start defining your scope by an infinitesimally small piece. To go about determining what is the area under a curve, you need to divide that curve into very, very small rectangles.
Small rectangles, yes.
Yeah. The basis of engineering is marginal gain, differential gain. That's how you actually, if you want to be more technical and more engineering for other crowd or other audience that is more engineering, it's that. It's that's differential gain. Like, you know, dx dt, as you say, for people who understand the jargon. Because once you understand the power of dx dt on the large scale, on how much that the dx dt can actually have an impact on the force that you're applying on stuff, on the type of acceleration you're having, all of those stuff, it's how you understand that if you just change
everything
a tiny
around you
bit,
does. Yeah.
everything in a in an instantly changing things. You change this over time. You're changing this over time. You're changing this over time, and you're following a certain change. When you integrate that change, you are getting so much area, so much ground that you have covered. And that can be named a lot of things. It can be building resilience for people who study mechanics of material. I'm kind of picking it up from there.
Yeah.
You can be you can be increasing your energy that you need before you can fracture. Like literally before breaking down, you have these strong walls that you have built based on the habits that you have developed. You can be bringing a lot of positivities in your life. So it's kind of it's one of those books that's just, to me, it's a very personal book. That's that I really encourage everyone as we're going through it
to pick up and read. Yep.
And start reading. Yeah.
And
because it's really hard to actually just explain everything that it says in there.
Exactly.
But all the tricks he gives are amazing, and I feel like people should read it.
Yeah, and as much as we can, we also start working on a summary of this book. We put it there on the link that we provide to you in most probably in our next episode, where you can actually go, and if you just want to you don't want to go through the stories, you just want to look at the principles and start applying them in your life, where you can go look at the summary and start applying this in your life. This book will teach you how to change your identity. You want to stop smoking, or maybe you shouldn't say that I don't smoke. You should say I'm not a smoker. You know, just that little tiny change in the way you identify yourself can actually compound into so many other things. One example that was kind of tickling my mind while Adam was talking about health. I don't know if you've heard the saying that an apple a day will keep the doctor away. How many of us apply that in life? How many of us are actually constantly eating fruit, and we are not constantly eating all this processed sugar or processed alcohol and maybe smoking, habits that are destructive to us? So this is where we're going to leave you today. We want you to be actionable and do something. Answer this question: what are the habits you are trying to create in your life? And I want you to take those habits, and here we are crossing a little bit over to BJ Fogg, our Tiny Habit book, where the first thing you want to do is to clarify your aspiration. You cannot build habits you do not know about. It's like, yeah, I just want to change my life, but what is it exactly that you want to change your life? It's not about your IQ. It's about the habits, the system that you create around you that will help you in the long run. So the first question is, what are the habits you are trying to build? Whatever it is, whether let's say your aspiration is to lose weight, and next time we see how now can you build habits that can help you lose weight, right? If you want to sleep more, how can you? That's an aspiration. But how can you build habits that can help you sleep more? If you want to use less of your phone, how can you build the habits that will help you lose less of your phone? Adam mentioned something I think is very important. If you want to be in control of your life, control your habits. And the truth is, most of us are not in control of our lives. We are our mobile devices. We think that we control them, but they actually control us. How many times have you picked up your phone to call someone or text someone, and then you saw a notification that took you through a trail of other things that you didn't plan to do? You started watching some TikTok videos, or you started watching some Instagram videos that did not help you to do or accomplish anything. And yet your first intent was to take your phone and text someone or call someone. Are you really in control of your life? And if you're not, stick with us until the end of this book as we teach you, as we share with you the techniques and the habits that you can implement in your life that can help you regain control of yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is with that we'll be finishing up today. We're excited again to have you back here for our second season, and we are focusing on growth. We are focusing on personal development. We are focusing on leadership. We are focusing on creating new habits. You want to be successful? Adopt the habits of successful people. You want to be a failure? Simple. Adopt the habits of people that haven't achieved anything, haven't done anything. And success, as we know it, is not about having $1 billion in your account. Success is about accomplishing the things that you set your mind to accomplish. And if you are not accomplishing that in your life, that means that you have some work to do. You have some work to do on you, and we all have some work to do on you. Again, this is what we'll be finishing up with today. Next week, we continue to talk about this book, Atomic Habits. And we are still working toward our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is already available. We're just working toward the video and our guests. We'll be announcing our guests well in advance so that you can have time to prepare and catch with us when we're doing it. But whenever we have guests, the episode won't air on Tuesday. They'll be airing maybe on a Thursday or a Friday, or just a different day. We keep Tuesday mostly for our weekly podcast and our books review. If it's your first time here, do not forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss our future videos or our podcast episodes or even guests that we have in the future. If you want to support us again, go to www.theunboundedgrowth.com. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram, Unbounded Growth, on LinkedIn, Unbounded Growth, still the same name of the page. And Adam and I, we always be here to help you, answer your questions, and help you as much as we can, share with you what we've learned and what we're still learning through these books. That would be pretty much it for today. Adam, anything else to add?
Well, that's all I had for today, and I really encourage you to pick up the book, get the book. Find in any way possible, find in a language that you understand better. Just try to get on with it as we're going through it. And I believe that by the time we finish with this book, it will definitely change your life.
Absolutely. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. And for the rest, you have a wonderful week, and God bless you.